Hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV screen to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well let's learn English together. And welcome once again. How are you all today? I know that you're all having a fab day, a fantastic Friday. Yes, people? For those of you who didn't notice, maybe some of you were concentrating on some other stuff. But if you didn't notice, allow me to inform you. This is Friday. Fantastic Friday is here once again. It's here, the best day of the week. The day when the standard working week comes to an end and the time when we get to enjoy ourselves more. The weekend starts today, people. That Friday feeling is growing and growing. All right, but before we get to the weekend, we know that we've got a few things, some other stuff to have a look at. So, let's get on with that, get through that stuff, and then we can get ready for the weekend. Every weekend is stuffed with fun stuff. All right, now, think back. Think back to the scene in the supermarket, the scene where we last saw Dave and Alfredo. Now, in their conversation, we heard a little about what Dave thinks is going to happen to Eddie Finn. Well, it's time we caught up with that pint-sized criminal mastermind, the young boy who tried to walk out of the supermarket with a load of electronic stuff stuffed up his jumper. Let's see where he is now. PC Whiffle and Dave Squid have taken him away, and now he's about to have an interview with Dave Squid's boss, Dave Squid's superior officer, a police officer who is Dave's superior, whose position is above Dave's in the police hierarchy. All right, well, let's see what's going to happen.
You come and stand here, young man. You're a thief, is that right?
Yes.
Sir, if you please.
Yes, sir.
The reason you're standing here today is because a number of people think you're worth a chance, myself included. And your parents have agreed that you should be cautioned. And the owners of the store have also agreed that you should be cautioned. Had they not done so, then you wouldn't be standing here, you would be before a court. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
What you did was stupid, as well as criminal. This is your name. This is your number. This is a police file. It is not a criminal record file. It's kept till you're 17 years old. If between now and that time you choose to commit crime and you're arrested, you will be taken before a court. And when you get there, this matter will be mentioned as well. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, the prisons are full of people who've stood at the crossroads and made the wrong decision. It's a matter for you. It's your life.
All right. Well, no, it's not really all right, is it? I mean, it's all right for us and it's all right for Tim Benchfield. He didn't have to go to the police station for a formal caution from Dave Squid's superior, did he? No. That said, although he managed to avoid a police caution, I think we all know that Tim's going to be in trouble with his parents. Alfredo didn't say much to Tim in the supermarket. He didn't tell him off, but you and I both know that when Tim gets home, he's going to get a telling off from both his parents. Okay, but we can think about Tim's problems later on. For now, let's concentrate on Eddie's can of worms. All right now, what did the policeman say to Eddie? What new language was there in that formal caution? Well, how did the policeman start the interview? How did he start the conversation? Well, he started with an order, didn't he? Yes, he used the imperative, the infinitive without to tell Eddie, or Edward, as we saw on his police file, what to do. The policeman is in charge. He's the boss. He's running the show, not Edward Finn. So the policeman started by telling Eddie, by showing Eddie that he's in charge, and he used the imperative to do this. Although we all know that if we use the imperative with let's or a question like why don't we, then it's not an aggressive idea. In those situations we're making suggestions using the imperative form. But we also know that when we use the imperative to give orders, then it's very easy for someone to be aggressive and show others who's in charge. If I'm giving orders, if I'm telling other people what to do, if I'm using the imperative to tell people what I want them to do, then obviously I'm the man in charge. Think about your job, for example, or think about your school. There are people who are higher up in the hierarchy. Your bosses, your managers, your line managers, your teachers. They're all in a superior position to you. And so this means that they can tell you what to do. They're your superiors. So they can use the imperative to order you, to tell you what they want you to do, what you have to do. And it's the same with Eddie. The policeman is in charge and he's communicating this message to Eddie. The policeman tells Eddie what to do. Okay, now what else did the policeman say to Eddie? Well, the policeman didn't like the fact that Eddie only said yes when he replied. Again, the policeman is showing that the policeman is the one who is in charge, the one who is in control. And the policeman, wants Eddie to show some respect. That's what this is all about. If you address someone as sir or ma'am, and ma'am is just the more common form of madam, it's just the same form but the contracted form. Madam becomes ma'am. When I was at school in 1432, we had to call the male teachers sir and the female teachers ma'am. So, when the policeman says, sir, if you please, he's delivering a message to Eddie, and that message is, I am a more important person than you. I am in a position of power over you, and you will show me respect. You will call me sir, or there will be trouble. All right, so Eddie now knows who's in charge. All right, now let's look back at the first question that the policeman asked Eddie. You're a thief, is that right? Now, what do we think about this question? What's different about this question? What makes this question slightly different from other questions we know and ask? Well, look at the structure of the question. Is there a question mark at the end of it? Yes. Okay, well, that's normal then, isn't it? Yes, but what about the rest of the question? Well, think about the way we normally turn a positive statement into a question. Normally, with a positive statement, we start with the subject and follow with the verb, don't we? I like monkeys. You play football very well. Pavarotti sings like a cat. All right. Now let's turn those positive statements into questions. Swap the subject and the verb around and bung a question mark at the end. Simple. Or is it? Before we start changing the position of anything, look at the statements and look at what tense we're using. It's the present simple, isn't it? Yes, that's right, boy wonder. And exactly what does that mean? Exactly, Supergirl. That means that we have to use an auxiliary verb. When we want to make a negative statement or ask a question with a verb in the present simple tense, then we need an auxiliary verb to help us. Okay, and which verb do we use in the present simple tense when we're making negative statements or asking questions? Yes, that's right. To make a negative using a verb in the present simple, we need the auxiliary verb do. And the same is true for our questions using a verb in the present simple. So, now that we've checked that, let's see what the questions are. Do I like monkeys? Do you play football very well? Does Pavarotti sing like a cat? Okay, now those questions are correct, and we all remembered that because Pavarotti is the third person singular, we don't use do, but the correct form of the verb to do for the third person singular, does. All right. And we also all remembered that we have to conjugate the auxiliary verb, not the main verb. The main verb stays in the infinitive form without to. Good. Now let's think about questions without an auxiliary verb. What about if we use the verb to be? If we take a positive statement using the verb to be and turn it into a question, then we don't need an auxiliary verb, do we? No. The dog's hungry. My feet are ugly. Your parents are at the theatre. Okay, so 3 more example sentences. Let's turn them into questions. How about it? Is the dog hungry? Are my feet ugly? Are your parents at the theatre? All right, so what did we do there? Yes, that's right. We changed the positions of the subject and the verb. We swapped the subject and verb about. The dog is becomes is the dog. My feet are becomes are my feet. Your parents are becomes are your parents. And because we're asking questions, we remember to put a question mark at the end. Okay, but let's have another look at the question that the policeman asked Eddie. You're a thief, is that correct? Now, what's different here? What's not the same? Look at the structure. It's a question, but the form starts the same way that a positive statement starts. The policeman starts with the subject, you, then follows with the verb, are. So, in actual fact, this isn't a real question at all. This is a statement with a sort of question bit stuck on the end. Yes, what the policeman is doing is asking for confirmation. Now, who remembers the verb to confirm? We had a look at this verb a few weeks ago when we were talking about bank cards and mobile phones and emails and security and things like that. Your passport confirms that you are who you are. When you want to buy something with your credit card, you often have to put in your PIN number, the personal identification number, the secret number that only you know. And when you do this, you confirm that it's you. It's really you. Not someone who stole your card. Not a thief like Eddie Finn. So, the verb to confirm means to say, yes, that information is correct. Okay, so the noun from the verb, the noun connected to the verb to confirm is confirmation. And we see this all the time. Imagine if you went to have lunch with Dave Squid in the police station where he works. Would the other police officers just open the door and say, "Hi, come in. Who are you looking for?" "Oh, Dave, yes, he's in the back somewhere. Just go through and have a look for him." No, of course they wouldn't. In order to get into the police canteen, the police cafeteria, you first have to confirm who you are. You have to show the police officer at the front desk that you are who you say you are. Okay, so you show the police officer some ID, some identification. And is that it? No, of course not. The police station is a secure building and security is very tight. So, after the police officer has confirmed that you are who you say you are, Dave Squid then has to confirm that he knows you, that you have an appointment to meet, and that he's expecting you. He's waiting for you. So, lots of confirmation. Lots of people asking things to get confirmation. Confirmation is all about getting a positive answer to something like, "I think this is true. Can you tell me or show me that it is true?" It's a different sort of question. When I'm asking for confirmation, then I think I know something, but I want someone to say that I am correct. I do know this thing. With a normal question, I don't know anything. I'm asking because I don't know. Say, for example, that I think the sound engineer's name is Chobber. I think it's Chobber, but I'm not 100% sure. It could be Zachariah. It could be Clive. It could be Colin. In this case, when I meet him, I can ask him to confirm what I think I know. When I meet him, I can ask him, "Your name's Chobber, isn't it?" Now, think about the way I would ask his name if we just met. What's your name? So, with a real question, with a genuine question, we follow the verb plus subject form, but if we're asking for confirmation of something we think is true or correct, then we make a statement of fact and then add some sort of question clause to the end of the sentence. And that's exactly what the policeman did with Eddie, didn't he? He didn't ask, "Are you a thief?" The policeman knows, or thinks that he knows, the answer to the question. Eddie has just been caught shoplifting. So he is a thief. But the policeman wants Eddie to confirm it. He wants Eddie to admit that he, Edward Finn, is a thief. The policeman is playing a psychological game with Eddie. Everyone knows that Dave Squid and PC Robin Whiffle, acting on information supplied by Lizzie Benchfield, caught Edward Finn shoplifting electronic stuff from the supermarket. Everyone concerned knows that Eddie is a thief, but The policeman wants Eddie to confirm this information. The policeman wants Eddie to confirm that he is a thief, a person who steals things that don't belong to them. And on that depressing note, well, it's not depressing for us, but the situation that Eddie's in isn't a great one, is it? So, on that note, it's time for us to part. Yes, it's Friday afternoon, and soon it'll be Friday evening. So, jump into the shower and make sure that you wash and scrub yourself until Mr. Stinky has left the building. Remember, never forget, nobody wants to speak to, drink with, or dance with someone who smells as bad or worse than a homeless dinosaur's armpits. Okay, people, we're done for the week. So I'll see you all on Monday. Have fun, people. Have fun. And have some coffee. And later on, have a cocktail. Have a marvellous weekend and enjoy yourselves. And if you've got some time to spare, check out the website. It's where the vocab is. All right. See you on Monday. See you later. Bye.